Coming to you from the Lydia Media Studios in the heart of Lewiston, Auburn, it's Lydia's Lunch Bunch, LA's afternoon morning show with Mark and Pam. We're covering news and events in the greater LA area and talking to the people making a difference in our community. Feel free to share your comments, questions, or suggestions via email at podcast@lydiamediallc.com.
Today's show is brought to you by Ruper's Beverage and Redemption. When it comes to beer, wine, and spirits, don't botch it, squatch it. At 4 locations in Lewiston, Auburn, and Oxford. Learn more at rupersbeverage.com. And remember, the party starts at Ruper's.
Rick, if you're giving us a weird look about the squatch it, you ain't heard nothing yet.
Just wait.
Our guest in studio is State Senator from Western Maine and independent candidate for governor, Rick Bennett. How are you?
I'm doing great. Nice to be with you, Pam and Mark.
We're going to be talking about the town hall you have coming up tomorrow at Nutty Nettie's in Auburn.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Fantastic. So we'll get to that in just a bit. But before we do, let's take a look at some headlines for Tuesday, August 25th.
The City of Lewiston announced candidates running for mayor, city council, and school committee in the November 3rd elections. Mayor Carl Shaleen is running for re-election. He'll face Brian Bolio, Ricky LaChapelle, Jay Rodrigue, and Charles Sewell. City council and school committee candidates can be found at lewistonmaine.gov.
The Auburn Water District and the City of Lewiston Water Division will begin work to replace the Townsend Brook culvert on Lakeshore Drive on September 16th. Detours will be in place and questions can be directed to the Auburn Water District at 784-6469. Work is expected to be completed by September 30th.
The Androscoggin Valley Soil and Water Conservation District is offering a virtual event on how to keep your lawn green and beautiful. Healthy Lawn Care Made Easy is happening tonight at 6 p.m. and will offer tips on fertilizing, watering, pest management, and more. For more information, visit the City of Auburn's Facebook page.
And the Maine Department of Agriculture, Conservation, and Forestry will launch its fall foliage reporting season on September 9th. Weekly reports at mainefoliage.com will provide foliage conditions across the state and help residents and visitors decide when and where to explore. Now it's time for the weather.
Rain or shine, it's all okay. Grab your uke and start the day. You don't need perfect skies above. Hey, just a song and a little love.
Mostly sunny today with some late afternoon showers. We'll have a high of 76 and a low of 56. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow with a high of 78 and a low of 59. Cloudy on Thursday with a high of 79 and a low of 60.
In sports, Anthony Siegler's 9th inning RBI triple led the Red Sox over the Marlins 4-2. They'll play again tonight at 6:30 in Miami.
The Patriots traded wide receiver Kayshon Boutte to the Texans in exchange for safety Jalen Reed and a 2028 7th-round draft pick.
Does that mean they shook their booty?
Shake your booty. Shake your booty.
That is your news, weather, and sports. And right now it's time for the podcast segment that is sweeping the Twin Cities. It's time for famous people birthdays.
They're famous. It's their birthdays. It's famous people birthdays. It's famous people birthdays.
Let's take a look at FPBs for August the 25th, shall we?
Sure.
All right. We're going to start off with Blake Lively, who is 39 years old today. You know her from Gossip Girl. Celebrity chef Rachel Ray is 58 years old today. DJ Terminator X from Public Enemy.
Gotta mention him.
60 years old today. Pam's big into the gangster rap, Rick.
Okay.
Yep.
I have no idea who DJ Terminator X is.
But you know Flava Flav. Same band.
All right, I've heard that name.
Yeah.
See?
Country singer Billy Ray Cyrus is 65 years old today.
His achy, breaky heart.
Yep. And what else did he do besides that?
Had Miley Cyrus.
That's right. Yes. His 2 claims to fame. Director Tim Burton is 68 years old today. His movies include Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands, and Michael Keaton's Batman.
He
Which
does
some
some
would say.
interesting movies.
Yes.
Yeah, some would say what?
Michael Keaton's Batman would be the best Batman.
I agree.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Definitely.
Rob Halford from Judas Priest, 75, and Gene Simmons from Kiss is 77.
And rounding out FPBs for August 25th is Mark Turco.
Oh, geez.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Do we sing?
Yes.
No, you don't have to sing.
All right.
You're going to hear me sing in a second.
Well, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
Maybe I
it's
had
not.
that in reverse.
It's not good.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a good thing I'm rounding out FPBs because I am 78 years old today. So I'm actually older than Gene Simmons, which is depressing. But there you go. Those are your FPBs. Now it's time for some OTDs. It happened on this day. It happened on this day. It happened on this day.
Well, he kept the headphones on.
That's a good sign, right? What did you think, Rick? Honest opinion. What did you think of my singing?
I think that was pretty good. I didn't recognize it as you, though.
Oh, okay. Spoken like a politician.
That falsetto is just unbelievable.
Right?
Yeah. Thought it was Aaron Neville or somebody like that.
Pam was asking, she's like, when did you record that? Because a lot of times in the office, you can hear the show from down the hall.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what happens when you leave me home alone with recording equipment.
His wife was very impressed.
Oh, my goodness. She goes, you're not going to let anyone else hear that, are you? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to play it on the show. And then,
Just every day.
yeah, she just walked out of the kitchen.
She's very proud.
So proud.
32 years ago in 1994, Robert Plant and Jimmy Page reunited in a London studio to record their MTV Unplugged show, which they called Unleaded.
How clever.
How clever. Also 32 years ago, 1994, Billy Joel and Christy Brinkley divorced after 9 years of marriage. Oh,
He lost his uptown girl.
he did. 50 years ago in 1976, Boston released their self-titled album featuring their smash hit, More Than a Feeling. It was one of the best-selling debut albums of all time. 56 years ago in 1970, Elton John played his first U.S. show at the famous Troubadour Club in Los Angeles. He was unknown at the time. We all know him now. 64 years ago in 1962, Little Eva hit #1 with The Locomotion.
Oh, and then who brought that back? Kylie Minogue.
She did.
Yeah, she brought it back in the 80s. Was one of her big hits.
And 87 years ago in 1939, The Wizard of Oz opened in theaters, starring Judy Garland as Dorothy.
Never saw it.
You're kidding. You'd be surprised at some of the movies he hasn't seen.
Really?
Yes.
I'm not a fan of good movies.
Okay. Just
I like
bad stuff.
I like
Yep.
bad movies. Like I tell Pam all the time, $10,000 in a Dream. That's the budget.
What's your favorite $10,000 in a dream?
It's a movie called The Incredibly Strange Creatures Who Stopped Living and Became Mixed Up Zombies.
Okay.
Yeah, it was made in 1964.
Okay, I've got to look that one up.
It's a classic.
Are you going to remember the
I don't see how I can
18-word
forget.
title?
It's the longest movie title in
I
history.
may have to listen to this over and over and over again to get it.
Those are your FPBs and OTDs for August the 25th.
Whether you want a sit-down meal or a grab-and-go, Pat's Pizza in Auburn offers delicious sandwiches, pasta, salads, and pizza at family-friendly prices. Pat's Pizza, serving the LA area since 1985. Open daily from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at 85 Center Street in Auburn. Online at patsauburn.com.
Looking for a vehicle but don't love the car shopping experience? At K&R Auto Sales on Center Street in Auburn, Frankie Campbell is known as your friend in the car business. That means no pressure, honest conversations, and helping you find the right vehicle for your budget and your life. Stop by K&R Auto Sales today and see how easy buying a car can feel when you've got a friend on your side. And now we shift focus fully to our guest in studio, candidate for governor Rick Bennett, who is having an Auburn town hall tomorrow at Nutty Nettie's in Auburn. And we're going to get to that in just a second.
It's the Court Street location.
Yes,
Yep.
exactly right. Yep.
Before we get there, Rick, what inspired you to pursue a career in public office?
Yeah, it was it's interesting. I think it was an aberrant gene that came down, once every few generations from my family. But I was the first in many generations to run for any office at all. I just at a young age was just moved by reading history and understanding the impact of the opportunity of public service. So when I was in high school and then college, I participated in some political things, and I kind of caught the bug and found myself early career running for the Maine House of Representatives, and way back in 1990, and I served a couple of terms in the House. I served 8 years later in the state Senate. 25 years ago, I was president of the Senate. Actually, when we had a tied Senate, it was a different age. We had an equal number of Republicans and Democrats, one independent, and we actually got along. Can you believe it? We actually found a way forward and respected each other and listened to each other, were transparent with each other, and made it work when people didn't think it would. So, it was an early part of my life, and then I helped my wife of 35 years raise our kids, and led some businesses in Maine, some turnarounds of Maine businesses, but back in 2020, I said, our politics has gotten really bad, and we need a different approach. So I decided to dust myself off and run again for the state Senate, got elected, and have since then tried to show cross-partisan leadership, and with some success and some fairly major issues, but things keep getting worse. And I felt that I believe that the two-party system has become so corrosive of, the ability of people to work together. So I decided to leave the whole two-party system and try a different modality. And so I decided to run as an independent for governor, because the two parties just keep us fighting with each other, keep us hating on each other, keeping us fearful of each other, and worse, not getting anything done. And we've got some wrenching issues in this state that we need to attend to.
How long did it take you to make that decision to run as an independent?
Yeah, I've always felt a real independent streak, and I guess most Mainers actually do if you get out of politics. But I was, over the last 6 years, I've been, by all objective standards, Bangor Daily News did a study, found me the most nonpartisan voting person. So I've always been there with my politics, but I just came to the conclusion over the last 2 or 3 years that the two-party system is just not working. They bring in hundreds of millions of dollars in dark money, and that money is here. We don't even know where it's coming from, and it's just here, usually spreading negative, dirty, just really bad messaging about people, and keeping us just like focused on the negative side of humanity. And we need a different politics. And the politics, we need to start looking at each other as real human beings. And that means like understanding that most people are in it for the right reasons. They are kind. They're joyful. They want to find solutions together. But the whole system is now geared to reward conflict, not resolution. So it's been a bit of a journey for me, but I realized that really in order to continue this mission, I needed to leave the two-party system and give people a real alternative where it matters at the ballot box in November. So I'm delighted to be on this journey. I'm having a great time out visiting with people. I started a statewide walking tour a couple of weeks ago up in Fort Kent, Maine. I laced up my New Balances at mile 0 from Route 1 in Fort Kent and started walking. And I walked through Fort Kent, Madawaska, Caribou, Presque Isle, Millinocket, East Millinocket, Old Town Orono, Skowhegan yesterday, and just meeting people where they are to hear their own stories and to share my views and answer people's questions. And it's been a great journey, and people have been really responsive.
And what kind of questions and concerns are you hearing from Mainers?
Everywhere I go, people just are having a hard time meeting the very basics, and the stats support that. Nearly half of Mainers are really having a hard time paying for housing, paying for health care. Child care is inaccessible all across large parts of Maine. Energy costs are through the roof. They're the highest in New England. Our schools aren't getting it done either. It's unfortunately our school performance in the bottom quintile of the states. So we have a lot of issues. Affordability, just the cost of being able to afford to live, is first and foremost. And the political system is not addressing these issues in a way that is getting results. And the parties keep pointing fingers at each other and, waiting till the next election. And that's unacceptable.
I've been wondering this myself, how these parties benefit from keeping us fighting with each other.
Well, I call it the political industrial complex. There's so much money flowing through politics these days, and we see it, just parts of it, watching the never-ending bombardment on television and radio, and then there's lots more. And there are people who are putting their kids through college by keeping this fight going. They actually have no interest in resolving issues. Keeping the fight going is more important because that's when they make money. And then you have unfortunately, the parties are being led by the most extremes in each party, and those people demand a fidelity to purity, as they see it. And what that does is it means that people who win these primaries and then elect the leaders are the most extreme. And so those folks are generally not as willing to compromise, to collaborate, to sometimes even communicate with the other side. They started looking at each other as not only just adversaries politically, but as enemies or morally inferior, which is a very dangerous place to go. But it's partly just the huge sums of money involved. It's partly social media, and it just plays to the absolute worst. And all the rewards of success go to people who are the most extreme. People are tired of that needless fighting. They know that they're being played. They know that the system's corrupted, and they want a better future for themselves and their family. And they know that the political system is a game that is rigged against them and is not being played in their benefit.
Let's talk about the town hall that is happening tomorrow, August 26th, 5:30 to 7 p.m. at Nutty Nettie's Cafe, 34 Court Street in Auburn. What can attendees expect tomorrow?
Yeah, a lot of politicians, they go out and they do these town halls, and it's an opportunity for people to hear from the candidate, maybe ask some questions. But, a campaign is really about a community conversation, as far as I'm concerned, about us all having a talk together. So rather than just focus on me, this town hall is really focused on the Lewiston Auburn community. And I'm really delighted to focus even further on the issue, a real issue, as we all know here, of youth homelessness, housing instability for kids across the region. This is a statewide problem. There's a federal program called McKinney-Vento that identifies homeless youth across the country and provides funding to states and then into school districts and communities to support services for homeless youth, make sure these kids get the basics, get fed, stay in school. Their life may be very difficult, but, if they want to stay in school in a particular community. So the McKinney-Vento has identified 5,000 kids across Maine as housing unstable or homeless. And nearly 1,000 of those are right here in the Lewiston Auburn community. And so I wanted to use the town hall opportunity as a means of celebrating some of the community leadership here that is addressing this issue. And it's great. It's the police departments. Chief Jason Moen from the Auburn Police Department will be participating. Amran Osman, who's executive director of Generational Noor. Yusuf Adow, who is executive director of the Dalanero Kings Collective, a youth sports organization. Ron Potvin and Tom Ghiberti, who created the store next door to help these kids, will be there too, as well as Nicole LeMay, who's executive director of Youth-Led Justice. And what I want to do with this event is have the conversation where these folks can share what they're seeing, what the issues are, and what their piece of the solution is, and invite other members of the community to understand what's going on in this area and how they can help as well. because I'm using my campaign to try to elevate this important conversation. And then also I'll be available, obviously, to answer people's questions as well. But the major part of the program is really to drill down on this very important issue of teen homelessness here in Lewis and Auburn and around the state, and to talk about what we can do together, in that spirit of collaboration and looking at a problem square in the eye and doing what Mainers do best, which is helping our neighbors. And this is what our political system should be about as well.
In your view, where do we begin? How do we solve this issue?
I think it has to be done human to human at the personal, local level. I mean, the people that I mentioned all have various initiatives. I mean, Yusuf Adow, I went to the Adalanyaro Kings Collective sports program about a couple of weeks ago, and it was a tournament, and so they had lots of young people, mostly men, playing basketball and other sports, but young women there too. And, they're bringing people together, BIPOC folks, some of the immigrant youth in particular, but not all. And they're learning, collaboration and mentorship, and through sports, which is something that we do. It's a way of bringing people together, having some fun, and connecting people to the community. I think what happens with youth in particular who are challenged with housing is that they begin to lose touch with other people. They lose the sense of community, and these organizations that will be highlighted are particularly focused on breaking that down and making sure that people and these kids feel connected, that they have support systems, they have mentors, they have people in the community who care about them, and that is just critical. This doesn't happen from Augusta or Washington, D.C. It happens at the local community. Mm-hmm. The support can come from Augusta and Washington, but it needs to be done by these great organizations here locally in order to actually make a difference in people's lives.
Should folks RSVP to this event if they want to come?
That would be great. They can just go to my campaign website, bennettforgovernor.com, and there's a form there that they can easily access to let us know. We'd love to have a head count, love to know who's coming, but all are welcome. This is an open community event, and we really want people to come and hear from these great community leaders, learn what's happening, and involve themselves if they can.
Rick, tell us about the campaign so far.
It's wonderful, actually. I highly recommend to Pam and Mark, you run for governor sometime.
Okay.
Because
against each other?
Whatever works out. But I got to tell you that it's been one of the most remarkable experiences of my life. The opportunity to stick your nose in other people's business all across the state and to learn what amazing things Maine people are doing in business, in nonprofits, at the community level is so inspiring to me. And every day I encounter people who are doing something amazing. So I just, it's been a great experience. The politics is really off-putting for a lot of people these days. I mean, and frankly, it's kind of willful. The people in charge are trying to drive normal people out of the process, and they're doing a good job succeeding at that, unfortunately. But my campaign as an independent is just welcoming of everybody. I want my candidacy to be an agency for people to rejuvenate their interest in the community, the community conversation that politics should be. It should be about people coming together and finding that common ground, building on it, and finding solutions for issues. So I've taking this approach. It's been a wonderful, really inspiring experience.
You're well into your fourth decade in public service.
I guess that's true, Mark. Thanks for reminding me.
No problem.
Well, it's your birthday, so I'll forgive you.
You criticized my singing earlier, so we're even now.
Did you expect anything less?
No, and I know you're 78, so it's like
At least you were paying attention. I'm curious, you're contacting people throughout the state, areas that you really didn't focus on in your political career previously. What have you learned about Mainers that perhaps you didn't know previously?
Yeah, well, maybe it just reminded me of how Mainers really look after each other. They may have some political differences, and unfortunately, it's getting a little, unfortunate with that sometimes. But when push comes to shove, Mainers care about each other. I think a lot of the issues, although there's, different economies, the economy in Washington County is different from it is certainly in Portland or Aroostook County. But a lot of the challenges are the same. People do have a lot of pride in Maine. I have this question I put when I'm out on my walk across Maine. I just ask people, what do you love about Maine? And the response is often the quiet. They like the peacefulness. They like the outdoors. They like the sense of community and the good people. Those are the common answers I get. And I hear that all across Maine. So we do have a character, I think, which is unique and exceptional in Maine. I think people tend to be respectful and tolerant of other people and independent-minded. And I think those two things go hand in hand. So I was reminded of that. I'm reminded of that every day. And just the resourcefulness. I mean, and you can see that in our economy. Our state, not uniquely, but is one of the states that has the highest percentage per capita of small business owners. And you got a lot of people with like 2-person shops, 5-person shops, 15-person shops. We all know this, right? That's not normal across the country. So our economy is very dependent on the resourcefulness of people who decide they have an idea and they want to put together a business. And so we need to be very supportive of that because it's central to our economy, but it also says something about the character of Maine people.
What do you like about Maine?
Oh, I have to say I have to agree with the two major things I hear. First of all, the outdoors. I think regardless of where you are on the political spectrum, we have a shared appreciation and a common value around our outdoors, the importance of the natural character of Maine to who we are as a people, and then the people themselves. I think we have just extraordinary people who have a lot of humility, a lot of independence, and a lot of care and compassion for their neighbors.
When you look at the political landscape now compared to what it was when you first started in politics, what's your perception? Things went wrong, right?
They did go wrong, and they're going wrong. This is a real deterioration that we're living right now, and it's getting worse year after year. That's why I decided that I needed to do something to try to stop this, and that's what my candidacy is about. And I think we can pull it back from the brink, but, the things that we care about as a people, working together, our politics, we're celebrating our 250th anniversary. And, we always used to sort of take for granted the strength of our republic. I don't feel that anymore. I don't think a lot of other people are feeling that. They're feeling like maybe this is going to unravel. It's a scary thing. And it's going to require leadership from all of us to pull us back from that, and the willingness to say, you know what, we need to do things differently. We need a different approach. I'm going to demand better from the people who are running for office. And I think we're seeing that pushback now. As I said earlier, people know, they understand that the political system is no longer working for them. We've got a bit of a rebellion. I think you're going to see that in voting this November, that people are just going to throw off, the status quo. And I'm hoping they do that. That's what my candidacy is about.
I do want to go back to what you mentioned earlier when you were in the Senate, where you had 17 Republicans, 17 Democrats, and an independent.
Yeah.
You introduced power sharing. How did that work?
It worked really well. And I have to say, I was the leader of the Republican caucus at the time, and Mike Michoud, who was later congressman for the 2nd District, was the leader of the Democratic caucus. And, when the results of the election became known, we just decided to get together. I proposed that we do things a little differently, and we created some basic understandings of how to actually do it, how to share the instruments of power. Everything from office space to the presidency of the Senate. And the secretary, the whole organizational structure, the committee chairs were evenly split between Republicans and Democrats. We did this thing where we lined all the committees up against the wall, and we took turns picking which committee we would choose the chair of, like picking up a baseball team out of at recess. The office space, we used the rules of the playground. One party divided up the available space. The other party chose which half they wanted. And we just did basic things like that. But we did it with respect and integrity and transparency. And that's what really made the difference. I have to say, I was walking this past Friday as part of my walk in Medway, Millinocket, East Millinocket. And guess who came out and walked with me? Mike Mishu. He remains a very good friend of mine to this day. And he came out and introduced me to his neighbors there in East Millinocket and Millinocket, and took the time and we talked a lot about that with not only among the two of us, but also with people we met about that special time when we showed that we can do things differently. That wasn't that long ago, but there has been a deterioration since then, and we can bring it back.
Rick, outside of tomorrow's event, what's next for you on the campaign trail?
Well, I'm continuing my walks across Maine. If people want to follow, they can sign up to follow us on my webpage or look at Facebook. Planning walks in Augusta in the near future and Cornish. People can find out details on the website. And just doing a lot of events, too, being invited as people begin to focus on the fact that we have a new governor to elect this year, among other races that have gotten a lot more attention. I think, people are inviting us to more events, and I've been doing more podcasts, for example. Did one with the realtors this morning. We'll be doing an event with the Affordable Housing Coalition tomorrow in the morning. And talking with healthcare groups, and just seeing a lot of people and just trying to get my message out.
And before we move on to our final segment, and I meant to ask this earlier, but what do you consider to be your top 3 priorities if elected as governor?
Yeah, first we need to make life more affordable for Mainers. The whole range of things, as I mentioned earlier, housing and healthcare and energy and taxes. That's number 1. Number 2, we need to grow our economy because in the greater Portland area, we see some economic growth. The rest of Maine, 0. Mm-hmm. This is an issue. We need to tackle that. And third, we need to restore trust in government.
And where can folks go online to learn more about your campaign?
Yeah, I appreciate that. BennettForGovernor.com. That's Bennett with 2 N's and 2 T's. There's ample places there where people can volunteer, sign up, follow, decide to add themselves to a list so that they can at least know what we're doing or contribute money to our campaign.
Dirigo Federal Credit Union is proud to call Lewiston, Auburn home. Whether you're buying a house, saving for the future, or growing your business, we're here for you, right where you live. Visit DirigoFCU.com and feel the difference of a credit union that truly knows LA.
Pam and I close out the show with a segment called 3 Random Questions, where we will ask you questions that have nothing to do with politics. We're just trying to get to know you a little better as a member of our community.
Thanall you. I'm looking forward to this.
All right, don't thank us yet. All right, Rick, first question for you. If you could attend any concert or sporting event in history and have the best seats in the house, where would you go and why? Or let me rephrase this for you. If you could attend any historical event.
Oh, well, that's an easy one.
There you go.
I mean, I would want to go inside the Constitutional Convention in 1787. Nobody knows really what that looked like. And what a fascinating place to see these people. They were actually, the founders. Yeah. And we elevate them now, exalt them, but they were just people. Right. Love to hear those probably sharp-edged conversations they had back then.
Yeah, we tend to use them as props now whenever we need them.
Mm-hmm. Right? Exactly.
whenever they fit an agenda.
All right, Rick, if you could describe your perfect vacation, What does that look like?
I think my perfect vacation would be a nice, weather is very important here, but I would want to be floating down the Allagash River with my wife and my kids, and in good weather. In good weather, where you can pitch the tent at a nice campsite, maybe cast a line in for some fish, and it's not raining.
Yeah. Weather is very important in Maine. You never know what you're going to get,
You never
right?
do, yeah. You don't. Yeah.
All right.
Rick, putting your professional skills aside, what could you teach someone to do today with 100% certainty?
I could, this is not a high-skilled thing, okay, but it's what I love to do, and I'm pretty good at it. I like building trails.
Yeah.
You know, it's, there is a little bit of a touch to it, you know, when you get into some areas, but I've built many miles of trails around my house, and because I like to use the trails, but I also just enjoy building the trails. And so, you know, there's a little bit of an art to it, but not much, I have to confess.
What types of tools or implements of destruction do you need when you're going up building a trail?
You know, I have an electric chainsaw, which usually takes care of most things. I've got a walk-behind mower, a brush cutter,
Yep.
which I use, and then just the old loppers and you know, and then a lot of just elbow grease and pulling. But you know, one of the secrets is where the trails go and which lines of land you follow. Going by interesting things, a split boulder, an interesting tree, you know, just making the trail experience for whoever is going to walk on that or run on the trail something of interest to them. So lots of little serpentine wanderings and just make it interesting.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Rick, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for your time today.
Mark, Pam, it's been great to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks to Ruper's Beverage and Redemption for sponsoring today's episode. And if you'd like to be part of the Lydia's Lunch Bunch advertising family, reach out to Pam Ashby via email at pam@lydiamedia.llc.